This is Young Talk 254 with IRYNJOHN.
Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Young Talk 254. It's been amazing. Thank you for being a loyal viewer. And if you're new and you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell button. Yes, so that to get our weekly episode. We always release every single Wednesday. So put that on your timetable, all right? So in today's topic, it's rather personal to most of us in one way or another. The last episode we talked about bullying, and it was mostly physical bullying and verbal in a way. And today we want to talk about body shaming, because this is something that we've been affected in one way or another. Directly or indirectly, because of how we look. You know, sometimes you're judged by just how you are, especially when we're kids, and that affects us as we grow. So I brought a very beautiful lady. Her name is Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Jane.
Yes. So she's going to talk to us on her journey and how she was body shamed when she was young, and how she recovered and became this fabulous lady who loves herself and who is comfortable with who she is. Because I think body shaming, that is what it does to us. Like, you get uncomfortable about who you are and start comparing yourself with other people. So Lisa,
Yes.
I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm excited too.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
So you want to tell us how you were body shamed, or how it started?
Yeah. So it's funny how body shaming over the years has switched. You know, when we were younger, we were not called thick, we were called fat. You see,
Yes.
right now you're called, that thick, big. But now, when we were younger, it was fat. And you'd find people just like being in your business because you're bigger, and they just assume you have bad eating habits, and they just assume that you can't uncontrollably stop to eat. And it used to get to you because people would just say it as a joke. Mtu anaweza kimbia, mtu anaweza fanya this and that. And at first, obviously, it would get to you.
Yeah.
And then, but me, the way I've been wired, I'm a very trouble-making person. Like, I'm not the kind of person you can get to if you want to get to me. But under the covers, I'll go and cry. But then, hapo nje, I looked so confident. So I realized it kind of made me really sad and depressed. And I was like, what would I do to fix this? Because it's not stopping. You know, in a place where people in school are afraid of adolescents because they don't know what they'll be told. You know, a girl is growing and she's all of a sudden curvy, and there's this other girls who will now start attacking them. There's these boys who will start attacking them. So some people would change schools. Some people would just want to fake being sick so that they don't have to come face to face with the girls who thought that they were the it girls. But what I figured is, by the moment you're opening up your mouth to body shame someone, you are the person with the lowest self-esteem. You actually don't love yourself, so you project it to other people to make them feel as bad as you. You know, the minute you open your mouth to say, oh my God, look at how she looks, how she walks, that feature of the body, you're openly exposing yourself to people that you have the lowest self-esteem in the room. And when I understood that, that's when it actually stopped bothering me. But yes, it will actually get to you. There is actually a phase. We're not all born strong.
Yeah.
Some things will make you strong. But when you figure out where they're coming from, it's always from a point of pain when you choose to attack someone.
Yeah.
That's when you'll just stop really worrying about these things. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've actually felt bad that, because sometimes when you say some things, you don't think that they're really affecting somebody.
Someone else. Yeah.
You might say as a joke, like, hey, anyone is a kimbia. But in real sense, you don't know how actually that person feels
like.
And is there an instance that you were told, like something you were told that lived with you for a while before?
Oh, yeah. So my school, the school I went to in primary school was very athletic. So for some reason I could run at home with my neighbors. So when it came to tryouts, I decided to sign my name that I'll do relay for, was it 4x4? The one that you pass the, but yeah. So I chose to do it and I wrote my name and one of the girls came, though we had a discussion with her much later in life. She came and she was like, okay, sorry, did I just say your name? And it was like, before people, are you actually signing up to run? Now the thing, like I told you, confidently, I told her, yes, what are you going to do about it? It became a back and forth. But when I went home, I just remember going to my room and then went to behind the curtain and I cried and I cried and I cried. And I was like, this is so unfair. Why do they obviously think that's only slender people who can do certain types of activities? And I'm actually really fast in relays. So I got, like, I felt for a minute that I actually shouldn't do it. And I didn't really grow up in a home where you can talk to your parents about what, it was always grades and grades. So, kind of, I grew up figuring this out for myself. So I just said, nothing is going to stop me. And that felt really bad. But up until sports day, that's when people's perceptions of big people changed, because I ran and I was actually number 2 and I was more cheered than the person who became number 1. I've actually written that story in my blog. And she kept quiet and she felt very, intimidated. And I just remember even that day for sports day, when I came in, some girl shouted and she was my friend, Lisa, by the way, uta lose. They just had like this.
Your close friend.
She wasn't close. I just knew her. She was my friend. She was like, Lisa, by the way, uta lose. And I was like, hiya, tutaona. Like by the time that day reached, I just blocked. I'm very good in blocking things. I blocked and I ran and I won. And I just remember till today, there's a thing in the school, so many people later on came to say that's actually what made them feel they can be very sporty. And I said, if I will never get to do anything big in the world, it's just these 2 small things. It changed the perception of what people think about you. But definitely that was very painful. I just remember how much I cried and I cried and I cried. And then sports day reaches and someone just shouts that, when you're entering the gate. Oh, Lisa, by the way, uta lose, But I didn't take it personally. I just got in, everybody was just psych, and I actually became number 2. And that to me proved to me that it doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter what fault you have in your body. You can do anything equally like everybody else.
If you put your mind to it.
If you put your mind to it and you block all as I told you, once you know that people who body shame you are people who are hurting and they just have things they're figuring out on their own, you won't take it personally, but you have to accept that itakuuma. So deal with it and then you're able to be stronger as time goes by. Yes.
Like right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That is really nice and actually encouraging, because at the end of the day, it's how you deal with your situation, not how you are. Because if you're that size, you're that size.
Exactly.
True. And sometimes, and I tell people, sometimes being big, it's not necessarily that someone is eating. Sometimes it's genes. Yes.
Mine is totally my mom and I look like sisters, we're the same, everything. It could be genes, and also not everybody who's trying to lose weight doesn't love their body. It just could be, maybe I'm just trying to be healthier, or somebody could look like me and they're actually very healthy. So people should stop those 2 misconceptions here and there.
You should just be worried when the doctor says, by the way, you really need to check your weight.
Or when you feel, honestly, I'm really not doing, I'm not living a healthy lifestyle, so you try to alter it, but it shouldn't come because I want to look more like this or I'm being told this. No,
because you've said that. I remember there's a page I follow on Instagram. So it's more. I love working out as well. Yeah. So they post things. People actually sometimes they post someone who's slender became big, someone who's thick became slender. Like they do that. So there's a time they posted as she was big. So she was like, I'm not happy. And then it shows another picture. Now she's slender. She says, I am still not happy. Because it comes from within. Like you have to love yourself first.
Exactly. True.
All right. We'll go on a short break. And then when we come back, we'll continue with this discussion. And then you'll tell us more stories and more instances that you've been bullied because of how you look, or instances someone just misjudged you like what you've just told us. This is Young Talk 254. Don't go anywhere.
This is Young Talk Live 254.
Welcome back to Young Talk 254. Before we went on a break, we were talking about body shaming. I'm your girl, IRYNJOHN, and I brought a very beautiful lady. Her name is Lisa. She was telling us her journey and how she conquered, and what helped her actually to go through the body shaming process is the fact that she had a thick skin in a way that she could be able to block whatever negativity. But you see, at the end of the day, she will still cry on her own. You might be able to block in front of people, but sometimes you cannot block it on your own. So, Lisa, how did that, like when you're in that moment that you're vulnerable to yourself and you can't tell anyone because outside ushawaonyesha by the you can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
How did you deal with it?
I just got to a place where I figured it has to stop. And it doesn't, easy journey in taking a short time. It actually takes a really, really long time. Because I kept being so frustrated. I just can't keep coming to my room. Other than sleeping, I'm just crying and I'm thinking about every negative thing that, was said. And you see, for me, I was a very early maturer. The things that people started experiencing in class 8, Form 1, Form 2, I started in class 4 when I was 9. And I'm talking about personal and like physical things. Yeah. So I've always been an early maturer. So for some reason, I was always like the odd one out, you see. So some of these things would really frustrate me. But then I just seeked and I purposed to be a better person in myself. So when I stepped into high school, and then now high school is very interesting. You see, now high school, you find people want to some of the things you have. You're like, but I'm struggling with this. How can you want this? And you see people trying out remedies, coming to school with sijui hip enlargements and sijui what. You're like, how? Are you even sure this will work? And that's when that's when I came to realize that body shaming is not just for big people too. It occurs also with slender people. I personally think all body sizes are very beautiful. But squeezy especially, you find one body type is being seafood more than another body type. Now, the body type that used to, I'm sorry for saying this, no harm intended, that used to sort of reign and shine when I was younger, which is like people who are a bit slender, medium, are people who are trying to sort of, they're going through a phase where a guy would openly say, I want someone who looks more like Kari. Like, can't you add weight? Can't you do this? And some chick actually told me she cried because the man was really pressuring her to look more like her sister. Can't you eat more? Can't you, enlarge yourself more? It's crazy that now body shaming is actually going both ways, and actually both men and women. So when I think for me, I just discovered it's more about self-love, ni kujipenda too, because there are many other things about myself that I really like. My personality, my ability to talk to anyone, my ability to be very strong. So I started the journey slowly. I was seeing a shrink at the time who helped me also deal with, my body shaming, my body insecurities. And I got to understand that I'm also growing, like even if I become perfect, I'll get pregnant one day and all of a sudden, it's a cycle that keeps going, and you can only achieve to be who you want to be when you love yourself and understand when you see your body developing, it's actually like, it's beautiful to see it. One day you look like this, another day you look like this. So ni kujipenda too. So it just started progressively. Of course, there were times that were hard. There were times, I won't lie to you, you see someone is selling a tea that can help in tummy reduction, or someone is selling some oil or this and that. And I was like, fine, you will do it. You will lose, 30 days are over. And then after that, you'll just go back to where you are. So I figured if it's about losing weight, let it be a personal decision, maybe because I just want to change a few habits here and there, but I shouldn't hate myself regardless of how it turns out. I was being told that when you're gymming, sometimes you have to, it could end up both ways. There are times you will grow thinner. There are times you will actually gain. So, I mean, you just have to, depends on what you want. So it's mostly self-love, and self-love is a journey that will continue till we're 50. I'm not yet there, but it's just progressively understanding that you're beautiful. However God made you, it's beautiful, so just embrace and love yourself like that.
Oh, that's beautiful. You are beautiful just the way you are.
Yeah.
Girl.
You are.
Yes. I'll just go back to it again. You mentioned earlier that you didn't come from a family where you got supported. Are you like a firstborn? And if you're firstborn, do you have like younger siblings?
Yeah.
And how did that affect you? Because I feel like all firstborns, especially in an African family, you're like the second parent.
Yeah.
So you have already so many pressures, the fact that you're a firstborn, and then on top of your, how did that come about?
Yeah, I am a firstborn, and I have like two brothers below me. One is 20, the other one is 19.
Yeah.
So basically, my parents provided, they were there for us, but I'm talking about, it's actually a small percentage of us in Africa have grown up in a home where you can openly go say, oh my God, I'm dealing with this, I'm being bullied, I like this person, it was always education, period. That's what will make them happy. So being a firstborn, and this has translated into so many areas in my life. When I lose someone close, when someone dies or this and that, you can't cry forever because you're thinking, I'm going to make this other two feel so sad. They don't have someone to hold on to. You'll feel like the comfort is breaking, you see. So most of the time, because I used to feel like I have no opportunity to be vulnerable, I just used to block it. Like my room, the four walls in my room saw the real me. But for a very long time, outside they'll just see, my sister is strong, my sister does this, my daughter is this. So I mean, it just felt like, sorry for using this, I was in a closet. Sorry, not the literal meaning, but like, I just felt like who I really was not able to come out until like 2019. That's where I started like dealing with some things that were really constraining me, and not just like body shaming, but that was also one of those things where comments would be made in front of, those relatives who saw me, na umekula squeeze, relatives are crazy, or, people in school would say it before my brothers, and I had to intentionally not make a reaction because I don't want my brothers to see that, my sister gets ticked when this is said and she's not who we thought she was. So it's a whole jumble of emotions and like a journey that was really, really, I say toxic to myself because I started like ripping and dealing with it like much later. But yeah, I had to be strong and I had to put up a front to protect and to a certain image, my brothers and my parents had on me. Yeah.
That must have been tough.
It was tough. It was like so hard.
What pushed you to that point that, you know what, I actually now need to stop pretending that I am okay and actually be okay? Because there's a difference. I feel like most of us out here really pretend that we're okay. We're going through struggles.
Yeah.
It can be, we're just going through struggles or in so many insecurities. Let me put it that way. But we pretend that we're okay.
Yeah.
So what really triggered the, like, you know what, from now, as Lisa, I will not pretend to be okay. I will actually be okay.
I think for me, it's when I hit rock bottom. Literally, I just found myself, I went chini ya kitanda and I had like a big pint of ice cream, and I was just there and I was crying and I was like, how lower can anyone get than this? This is literally the meaning of rock bottom. I've been pretending this and this is happening, and look at me right now. So that's actually the year we met, when I took my gap year from school and I decided to focus my energy on acting. And if some of the rehearsals were very personal, I would even cry because I felt like that is where I can get my release in arts and music and all that. And that's where I would shine more. Yeah. So I decided to heal with art. And art is one of the best forms of healing. Like, you get to play another person, you get to live through their struggles, you get to meet people who are going through literally more or less the same thing as you, and you kind of live to see another day. You deal with it, you fight, and you're like, now I have my reason. Because up until until then, nothing was as exciting to me, you see. So when I decided to live through art, when I decided to meet new people, when I decided to move out of home and just face that, you will just sort of heal. And most of all, talk to somebody. I started talking to a shrink, and that was the best decision I've ever made in my life, because you do not know how much you have in until, and you know, therapists, these people have some power. I don't know where it comes from. At first you're so, you know, I'm not talking about this and that. You find yourself crying to the point of, I really didn't know this is all I was, you know, carrying in. So talk to someone, write about it. I love writing. I always send you to my blogs and all that. So write about it, sing, act. I mean, release in a way, we're all different. Release in a way that best suits, you know, who you are, and you'll find yourself being more appreciative. But it took me to be under the bed with like a whole 1 liter pint of ice cream, crying and being like, okay, so now what am I doing with myself? I'm sad, and everybody thinks, oh, she's so happy, she's the happiest girl. But yeah, it took me to go under my bed for no good reason and just cry it out.
But you stopped.
Yeah, I stopped. I stopped. Yeah.
What? That is heavy to carry.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that you're actually out of that. You know, sometimes, like you say, doing one set and then you're crying, I'll think like, hey, Carrie is a good actor. Like, hey, she's dope. Like, she's acing it. Like, you'll just cry, but you're dope. I'm not saying like you're not. You're really talented. You can tell us where we can find your blog.
My blog is called The Bubbly Life on WordPress. Yeah, it's
the bubbly
more
life.
or less my life stories, so that's where you'll find my stories in life.
And it's interesting, I will tell you for sure.
My life is a movie.
She has interesting stories over there, so just go check out The Bubbly Life of Lisa. Yes. I don't know. I feel like we've exhausted so much, and I don't know. I don't know if you're feeling the same way. Really, thank you for coming. I'll just tell you I will not even ask you further questions. Like, tell someone, I think, through that camera.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, just anyone who's going through what you've gone through before. Yes.
You're beautiful. You're very beautiful. You're smart. And this goes to both men and women. Body shaming doesn't necessarily have to be with women. It goes through men and women. You're beautiful. You're so smart. Whoever is telling you what they're telling you, trust you me, they're more insecure and more sadder than you. And once you realize that, you will treat them with love. So just understand that God did not make any mistake creating you. You're perfect. He created you, and you're gorgeous, and you're going to ace it, and you have big things in store for you. And people need you, and people need your story so that they can be motivated in life. Yeah.
Beautiful. And what can you tell to parents? When you talk to parents, maybe a parent is saying, or someone who's going through what you went through, like you can't talk to your parents, you can't talk to your siblings, you can't talk to your friends. Yes.
I think we really need to understand that it's not all about education and grades. Being a parent is more about showing up during the worst moments, during the happy moments. Don't only let your kids see the good side of you when they're performing. You know, let your kids talk to you when they're raw with emotion, like this and this is happening. Don't judge them. Don't lecture them. Listen to them. Sometimes they don't even want you to advise them. They just want a shoulder to lean on where they can cry on. And trust you me, if we have more parents like that, our generation won't be as sad and trying to figure things out as it is right now. So to any parent, to any upcoming parent, sibling or anything, it is important to have that relationship where your kids can talk to you about the most uncomfortable things and still feel very safe. Yeah.
Thank you. And that is how we end our show today. What? I'm honestly emotional and really touched. I don't know. Yes. But thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe. Give me a like, thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and see you till next time.
Catch IRYNJOHN weekly on YOUNGTALK254.